Hey team, hope you're all doing well. So today's topic, I wanted to go over a question of how do you know if you're burned out from running? And the question that I got from Cecilia asked this, and she said, would love a video on overtraining and how to avoid burnout and yet still get in miles. Okay, without question, you always have to self-monitor how you're feeling each day, okay? A lot of times, and this was another recommendation that I got from some of the coaches that I was very fortunate to work with, is checking your morning heart rate. Okay, if your morning heart rate is like around, say it's like 55 to 60 beats per minute in the morning when you're first getting up, and for whatever reason you wake up and it's like 72, or it's about 10 beats per minute over what it's normally in the morning, that is a good indication that you need to make sure that you either take that day off or jog and relax during your workout. Okay, um, again, if you're overtraining and if you're checking your morning heart rate on a consistent basis, then this is much easier. But when it comes to overtraining and avoiding burnout and still being able to get in the miles, you really just have to focus on how you are feeling with each passing day. Okay, listen to your body. If you're not reacting and you're not running at the paces that you normally do, then it's okay to back off for a couple days. Jog for a couple days before doing that next hard track workout or road intervals. We're so motivated, we're so driven to run fast times, get in track sessions, do the long runs and the tempo runs, that we forget the importance of where all of the real legitimate benefits come from our workouts. And the real benefits are going to be coming after the workout is complete. It's during the rest cycle, after the hard anaerobic workouts we do on the roads and track. After those are done, the real benefits come from the rest. And there is a terminology for that. It's called super compensation. I'll leave it here on the screen. That is when immediately following a hard workout, we're about 2 to 3 times weaker after we do that workout. But it's the 24 to 48 hours after we do that specific training session that the body bounces back and becomes much stronger after we allot sufficient time in order to recover from that specific workout. So it's really important when you're thinking about in terms of how do you know if you're burned out from running. Again, you usually know you're burned out from running is if your training session, your training buildup has been too long. Sometimes people work better with shorter buildups. There's some athletes out there that will really get in peak shape in a very short amount of time. It might be 8 to 12 weeks. Whereas, and for those particular individuals, if they're training for 5 to 6 months straight and not giving themselves enough recovery or not allowing themselves, at least a few days off during that buildup, and not setting up their training adequately where they're allotting sufficient time to recover from the hard workouts they're doing, then there is a burnout. There is a period where you will start to get diminished returns. So how do you gauge that? How do you prevent burnout? You listen to your body, make sure that you're doing the things after the hard workout that you do on the track or on the roads. You're making sure you're getting plenty of sleep. Mesotherapy is key. Sometimes you'll get tight muscles. My recommendation is definitely look up dry needling. Okay, it's sort of like acupuncture, but it's definitely a way to recover very fast if you have tight muscles. In my case, I would get them in my calves. I would go to a physical therapist and they would move the needle in different sections of the muscle. And then once it hits that specific area that's tight, it kind of loosens the muscle that's knotted up. Okay, for me it was calves. Some people it's shoulders, other parts of the body. But you just have to make sure that because whether you're training for a 5K or you're training for a marathon, we're putting a lot of stress on the body. So you have to make sure that you're allotting sufficient time to recover between each one of your hard workouts that you're doing. Most athletes, at least over the 30-year career that over the 30 years that I trained, I normally needed 2 days of recovery after each hard workout I did, whether those were hill repetitions, fartlek workouts, long runs. Some of my long runs, those varied pace long runs I talk about, those workouts usually took me about 3 days to recover from. Okay, and I've reached out to In our private community, one of the athletes was saying, "Hey, I love this style of training, but these long runs are just totally wrecking me." And I had to reiterate to him to make sure that he gives himself a minimum of 2 to 3 days of easy, relaxed jogging. Okay, if his race pace is, say, 7-minute mile pace for the marathon, he needs to be running those easy recovery days around 9-minute mile pace. Okay, and get beyond the fact, get beyond the paces that you're running on your easy days. Okay, they're meant to be easy for a reason. You're recovering from the hard training you're doing, and then really focus on your track sessions where you're doing those repeat 300s, repeat 200s, maybe you're doing repeat thousands on the track. That's the time when you're doing those tempo runs, when you're doing fartlek workouts, road intervals, or hill repetitions. That's where you really have to stress the energy systems of the body. And then after that workout is done, then make sure that you're taking it easy and giving yourself a minimum of 2 days between each one of your hard workouts. Again, it's going to be dependent on the athlete. There are athletes out there that are, at the elite level that can most of the time only need about 24 hours of recovery. Some athletes need more. Okay, it's also based on age too. Older athletes will just naturally need a little bit more time than somebody that's much more young and can recover quicker from those particular workouts. But if you're, in terms of your questions, Cecilia, I think that one, just to making sure that you're paying attention to your nutrition, getting plenty of sleep, not overthinking the process, trying to not, do the very best you can not to lose the enthusiasm for what you're doing. I know you, as well as every other athlete that watches these videos, have a great deal of motivation and drive for what you're doing. You want to succeed. You want to get faster at what in your chosen distance. And to do that, you have to be strategic. You have to think outside the box. What are the best middle to long distance runners doing, and how can I mimic those particular athletes, still be myself, but emulate what they're doing so that I can get similar results. And again, it's not about how much volume you're doing. It's about the quality of the work you're doing, and what are you doing after the hard workouts are done. Are you stressing about how the workout? I'm not saying you in general, Cecilia, but just anybody that's watching, just in general. It's important not to overthink the training. Just get out there, do the very best you can. If you're not hitting the splits that you wanted, still do the best you can to get that workout completed. You're still going to get a huge physiological boost from that particular, whether it's a track workout you're doing, or you're doing repeat intervals, maybe repeat miles or repeat 800s on the roads, or tempo runs or long runs. Regardless, even if you've invested in one of the RunDreamAchieve training plans or one of my courses, the key thing is to look at the training and do the very best you can to hit the splits, but don't get so bent out of shape if you're not able to hit that goal pace that I have prescribed on the workouts. The key is to get through the workout, and then to make sure that you're doing the correct recovery options, tactics after the hard workout's done. Okay, so I hope this answers your question, Cecilia. I think just maintaining your motivation, getting plenty of rest, hydrating well before, during, and after your workouts. If you're feeling like chronic fatigue, I would focus on getting a blood test. A lot of times athletes will run low on iron or ferritin or glutathione, which is the body's master antioxidant, and not know it. Okay, we lose sweat just in general sweating, but also through foot strike hemolysis. Is when your foot strikes the ground. Every time your foot strikes the ground, we burst red blood cells underneath of our feet. So there's a lot of different ways that athletes lose iron. So it could be something in terms of it's a chronic fatigue issue that you're feeling you really need to take some time away. It could be that you're running low on something, but a lot of times it's just the athlete needs another day of recovery, or maybe a couple days, or even up to about 3 days of easy jogging before they think about doing their next hard anaerobic workout, and that's what's needed. Okay, so that's my answer, Cecilia. I hope that's helpful to you. If you all have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Leave me a comment below. Hit the bell and subscribe button and like this video. I definitely appreciate that. It helps the channel grow. More people around the world see these videos. And yeah, I hope this is helpful, and I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.